nowadays, if you're buying a miner in ASIC, then it's like a beefy machine, and you will already with one machine you will have like problems to connect it at home. If you really want to make money out of it, I think you need to go big and go professional.
What's the second best? There is no second best.
Hi and welcome to this Bitcoin podcast. This podcast is usually in Spanish and this will be the first episode in English because of our guest, EMZY. EMZY is not only an OG in the Bitcoin space, he's an expert in mining, node operations and more. We will be covering topics such as these, but also wallets you should be using in terms of software wallets, hardware wallets. What are the best practices in order to keep your Bitcoin safe, private and as sovereign as possible? As EMZY has been in this space for such a long time, he has a ton of anecdotes and memories that are worth listening to. I hope you find this conversation meaningful and I hope it provides value. If you like what you heard, please make sure to subscribe and to follow for more podcasts. I will link below some of our recent podcasts that I think you might find interesting. With all that, EMZY. Okay, welcome to this Bitcoin podcast. Today joining me, it's EMZY. Welcome, EMZY.
Hello, Leo. Nice to meet you again in video. Yeah.
It's a long time coming. I'm really glad we're doing this. This is actually the first one that I'm doing in English. I usually just do them in Spanish because I think it's more of a niche, and there's already enough content in English. But I really was looking forward to this one. So, EMZY, for the people who don't know you, I mean, EMZY is a real OG in this space. He knows a lot about Bitcoin, and obviously would like to first know your story. Like, how did you first come about Bitcoin, and what was your initial thought, and how did you develop into loving it, I guess?
Yeah, I have like the mining backstory a little bit. I listened to a German podcast. I think it was a podcast that introduced me to it, but it was more about it was like very centric about this mining thing, and I thought a little bit about it, and the thing is, back like I don't know, maybe 2000, around 2000 or so, there was this city at home. Maybe you remember that. That was a software that you can run on your computer, and you helped searching for alien life. Didn't find any, but it was like a decentralized, no, not decentralized, it was a central service, but it was a contributed network thing where you download from this service some data bits, and then your computer crunching it, and you're getting back, and you're sending back your results. And there was also something that was called folding at home. I think it's about proteins folding, which is really computer intensive, and you did that. And there was a cracking of, I think it was RC4. I don't know. There was like an algorithm that was tried to crack or to find some pre-image. I don't know. Something also in that related. And I had a few friends who also had computers, and it was like a race. So who has more computing power? Who finds more aliens? No, I'm joking. More who contribute more. And so this was like a no-brainer. Oh yeah, you need like graphics cards, and then you run this software and you get something for it. And it was like more maybe like, I don't know. I mean, always like in Bitcoin, the incentives is money. So for sure, it was about money. I'm not spending like a few €100 on graphics card that are only buying for this and not want to game with it. So that was the start. But I think I didn't understand the implications or something. Or it was so new that it was like, is this taking off, or is this like something like, I mean all the other stuff is also going away. I mean, this city at home that stopped at some point, and no alien life found. So that's but I stuck with it somehow.
And then slowly but surely, so I guess you develop more knowledge about it. How did you come about contributing to Andreas Antonopoulos mastering Bitcoin? How did that happen? He mentioned you on the book.
comparison, yeah, I mentioned in the book because I did a Git pull request for the book. It was on GitHub, and it wasn't not ready, but I prepared to talk about Bitcoin. I tried to remember which, it was a local meetup here, something coding meetup or IT security meetup, which I was going to. And I wanted to do a talk about Bitcoin. And then I thought, okay, I used this book to make some slides. And I was reading something, and I think I only fixed like one word, more or less. Maybe it was like one word that was constantly wrong over. I think maybe there was three sentences where the word was wrong. It was just maybe some autocorrect error or something. But yeah, so I did this pull request and I said, "Oh, I fixed this," and then afterwards I'm in the book. So I'm not really like did a major thing or something. But yeah, it happens.
Still counts, still contributing. So that's awesome. Um, so I would like to know more about kind of what you do. You're very specialized in servers. Obviously, you mentioned that you started mining. Is that something that you, well, now that has become more industrial, that you moved away from? Do you think there's still space for private people to start mining?
Good question. Yeah, yeah. For sure, I only had like I think 4 graphics cards or something with one computer, and that was like it was like a hobby operation. It was like running at home and nothing really big or something. And I think you can still do that. I don't know if it's really. I mean, back then it also was not worth, or it was like roughly worth the power usage or something. I don't recall exactly, but it wasn't like you're getting rich from this. Uh, um, yeah, I see popping up all this like small miners. Normally nowadays, if you're buying a miner in ASIC, then it's like a beefy machine, and you will already with one machine you will have like problems to connect it at home. I mean, you can't run that in your kitchen or something. That's not the thing. There are companies they build out of the miner something that is like a heating element that is like really like throttled down and silent so that you can use it. But it's yeah, I think it's like novelty mining. If you really want to make money out of it, I think you need to go big and go professional. That's the only thing. But if you want to do that as a hobby and like to learn about it, I mean, there's this thing called how is it called? This mini miner thing.
Nerd miner.
Nerd miner, exactly. Yeah, I mean, it actually does what it says, but it's so slow that you never will find anything. But you learn how to set it up, how to choose a mining pool, and it's nice and it displays stuff, but it's a toy. It's like a toy kitchen for a kid. Sorry,
Yeah.
it's you never will cook with it.
Yeah.
Real food. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I recorded a podcast with him a few weeks ago. He's Spanish, and the creator of the Nerd Miner, and he says the same thing. Like this is just a fun, little tool that you could do on the weekends, and you can actually learn, and it does what it says. Like you're likely not gonna, make anything, but it's a fun exercise. You learn, and then, if you're extremely lucky, pretty much impossible, but or
Yeah.
in the future, but also helps to if there are enough nerd miners around the world, you could join these pools and maybe you could get like a few sats every whatever, however many months or something. You got to, I don't know, a terahash of nerd miners around the world. Like you could have this pool of nerd miners all over the world, right? Each one is around like 80 kilohash, so it's just tiny the amount of energy of computing power they have. But if you could potentially have a pool of nerd miners and they could act as as a soul miner, let's say in slush pool or in ant pool, whatever pool, they could technically get some rewards, some sats distributed among all of them, which would be, tiny, almost
I'm not
insignificant.
sure. I mean,
But potentially anyway, like it helps like efficiency, it helps like people becoming more included into this ecosystem. And in the future, who knows, maybe it'll develop some really efficient like narrow miner you could do while you're doing something else in your house. So maybe you get some sats of it.
I have an example. I don't recall which time around it was. I mean, it started with the graphics cards. Then there was like a small phase where it was interesting. Oh, you have one. Yeah. There was a small phase about FPGAs, which is like I don't want to go into it what it is, but it was more efficient, so less power consumption, but not really faster than a graphics card or something. So you needed like more hardware to get to the same result. And then we ended up with ASICs, and we stuck with that. And one first that I also got is like a USB miner, which was how was it? Block Eruptor, it was called. Like a small USB miner. And I don't recall when it was, like 2015, maybe 14, 15 around. And this thing has like about 300 mega hash. And the nerd miner has 80 kilo hash. So this is like 0.08 mega hash compared to 330. And I mean, and this USB stick, Block Eruptor, was also very, very slow in 2015 around. So I don't know. It's like no. It's just a fun project. I like it. I built myself one without the case. I just got the parts. It's basically only one part in software.
Yeah, literally.
I like the project, but I mean, you never will get anything.
Yeah. 100%. It's just an anecdote, and it's a fun thing to have. It's just fun.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. That's also, I mean, many people. I organized in the past some local meetups, and I'm attending this 21 meetups around. So where I live, I go like drive 1 to 2 hours to meetups and do stuff. I just last Friday I did a presentation about hardware wallets. I think we're going into that.
Yeah.
Most in the lastly not so much, but before the first question was, oh, I want to do mining. Mining is like a big thing, but then I always say, yeah, make it as a hobby. It's a hobby. You can't make money out of it. I don't know. I think it always made more sense just buy Bitcoin. This is you should first do this, and then maybe you get into mining, but not put all your Bitcoin into mining. That is not a good decision. Maybe I did that.
I agree. Okay, yeah, let's deep dive into hardware wallets and software wallets. Let's start with software wallets. So which ones do you recommend? What do you think about Electrum? What do you think about Sparrow?
Yeah, that's not an easy question. I mean, first of all, it should be an open source software. So if you run some commercial software that isn't open source, then basically you need to trust the developer 100%. If it's open source, then somebody else can look over it. And then there's the additional thing: you need this type of reproducible builds, where you really show that if you download the executable that you run on your computer is really what the source code is, so that there is some sort of connection. I mean, you can always download the source code yourself and compile it, and then you're sure, okay, this is on my computer. It's coming from the source 100%. But who does that? I mean, that's why there are reproducible builds, and I'm a little bit. I mean, I do the reproducible build for Electrum, so I say they are more close to being really open source, that you can trust them, that the source, or not trust them, you trust us. now it's only like 3, but I'm not really connected. I know the people from Electrum, but I'm not involved. I'm not in the team or something. So I'm like a outsider who also does this. And but I like Sparrow. Sparrow is a really nice nice project, but I'm not sure if people doing it for that. I think there's a I mean, there's for sure this wallet scrutiny website, which also tries to build the software, but I'm not sure if they're doing it for Sparrow. But nothing against Sparrow. Sparrow is it's an awesome wallet, and I think for newcomers, I would say go with Sparrow, sadly, because Electrum, it's like if you're used to Electrum, stick with it. I like it, and I talk to many people who say, "Oh, Electrum, this is like I always used it. I stick with it." But I don't know. It's like yeah, it's a hard learning curve to figure stuff out with it. I don't know. It's not really complicated, but it's not like you would think a modern wallet is looking like or so. Maybe it's mostly the design or the UX is, I don't know, back for 10 years or so. But it is what it is. But I think it's like one of the most trustfully wallets, and I know a few people who also sticking with it because of that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, also it's one of the oldest, no? I mean, Electrum, and that's one of the big like pillars of, trustworthiness. It's just, look, it's been going
Yeah.
on for the longest. Has the least amount of bugs, has the best track record, so that's always a good sign.
Yeah. I think it started 2011, which is like wow.
Yeah, that's pretty insane. Yeah. So and so one topic with software wallets could be, well, first of all, what guarantees that it's not hacked? How could it be hacked? And so in terms of, okay, someone is listening to us, you say, okay, Electrum, let's go with Electrum. Right? Is the oldest, has the best track record, is not very UI friendly because it's just really simple, and like if you're used to it, then it's good. But Sparrow is much better in that sense. But okay, let's go with Electrum because EMZY basically uses it. Okay. So should I just like create a wallet, 12-word seed phrase? Should I create a multi-sig? Should I just write those words on my paper, create a password, and then just use it on my laptop every now and then? Is that secure enough, or am I, success? Am I, you know, prone to be hacked? And what things would you recommend that is the easiest, but also the simplest?
Mhm. I mean, first of all, if you're not going into hardware wallet, which I always will recommend, is if you don't have a hardware wallet and you're using using Electrum or Sparrow or something, have like an old PC where you're running it on, and you have like the bare minimum of software installed. Don't use it for anything else, because I mean there are examples of this. I'm not sure if I recall it correctly, but I think it was somebody downloaded a fake wallet from, I don't want to say something wrong, but I mean, the manufacturer have nothing to do with it. I think it was a fake wallet from Wasabi. I think it was a Wasabi fake wallet. So it was not the original one, some other website. And this wallet was targeting another software. I think it was the Bitbox software or something. If you started Bitbox, it was like intercepted, and it's the Bitbox software. Bitbox is a hardware wallet, so it and the software said, "Oh, you need to recover from seed, and please put the seed words in this computer," and then your funds were gone from the seed words. So even, I mean, it was a Wasabi wallet, and the target was the hardware wallet software. So everything that you have running on your computer can somehow affect the security. So yeah, if you're saying what is the easiest thing, the easiest thing is have a old computer, maybe have a computer that is separate and only used for Bitcoin, and have like maybe a browser, and that's like the minimum that you need to use it. For example, you're using the browser for your exchange, and then you have the software wallet like Electrum or Sparrow on it, and that's all, nothing else, because everything that you install is a problem. Yeah. So
Yeah.
this would be a good setup if you don't want to have a hardware wallet, or you don't. Yeah. I think this is like a basic setup that is good. Yeah.
Love it. And in terms of hardware wallets, right? Ledger used to be perhaps the standard maybe 4 or 5 years ago. Now it's obviously with the Ledger Live. Now this whole panic about they could, retrieve your funds or like your private keys or something. Just the fact that they're able to do that if you just click a box then is worrying. Obviously, we have the Cold Card, we have Jade, we have many others. Like there's more and more coming in the industry. What do you recommend? Is a changing market? What you say now may be different from what you say in 5 years. So, what kind of things we should look out for, and what would you recommend as of today?
Yeah. Oh, this is like a big topic. First of all, there are many wallets that are. Yeah, let's go into it. The thing is, the main difference. I think there are two things that differentiate wallets mostly, and there are specialties also. But the first thing is about is it air gapped or is it not air gapped? There are these air gapped wallets where you scan QR codes or the
Could you
code
explain
card.
what air gap means?
Air gap means that you never connect a hardware wallet directly to your computer. So
So you
I mean,
connect it, but it's not connected to the internet, or how does it work?
basically, a hardware wallet is never directly connected to the internet. This is the idea, that you have a small device that is dedicated for doing exactly this, holding your private keys and signing transactions and show you your addresses and nothing else, and checks that the computer that is connected to where your wallet is running, the wallet without the keys, is doing what it says. So it just checks, so that even if your computer is somehow infected or malicious, or you're using some malicious software with your hardware wallet, still the hardware wallet can tell that something is wrong if you check the display of the hardware wallet. This is like the first thing that you really need, is like a display on the device that you can check on the device itself. It doesn't help if your computer says, I'm doing this, and you just press a button on the hardware wallet and doesn't check what is actually happening. Then it's worthless. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So would you? I usually recommend the Cold Card. What do you think about the Cold Card, and what's your preferred option?
Yeah, I think the Cold Card is a good option. Yeah, for sure, it's a good option. There's the controversy about the open sourciness of it, but that's not related to the security. It's fine if you can look at the source code and you can see via reproducibility that you're running the software. Yeah. So for in security perspective, this is totally fine.
Wait, so what was the controversy? That it wasn't real open source, or what?
Yeah, I don't know which license he switched to, but there's this controversy. Somebody else took the software and built another hardware wallet out of it, and now it's like a competitor. And I can see how this is a problem, but other companies are open source, and I think they didn't get a competitor, so maybe this is not comparable if this is like also happening with others. But NVK, I think we can name him. He changed the license to something that is only viewable. It's so you can look at the source code, but you can't take it and do your own thing with it. But security wise, that is not that big of a problem. So the hardware wallet is fine. The only thing is I'm not so 100% sure if the the usability is not that great. So I'm not sure if you can give it to somebody that don't understand a little bit about Bitcoin, or you need at least like watch half an hour of an introduction video how to use this hardware wallet. So it's not like something that you can give your aunt or something and say, oh yeah, you will figure it out. And there are other hardware wallets which does that. So so it wouldn't be the first thing to introduce a newbie to. So I don't know. It's more for advanced users for sure, because you also have not a companion app for it. And I mean, this is security-wise, this is great because you have different people who write the software, so there's no connection there. I get that, but from the usability, it's more complicated. And I need to specify this. I mean, my background is in IT security, so maybe I just have a better eye for stuff like that. But having something that is simple and you can't do anything wrong is also a security feature. So if it's too complicated and you can do something wrong, then it's always a problem. And you need to think about this, like if you're doing it once or twice, it's fine. But if you're doing it like 10 times or you are in a hurry or something, then it could be a big problem. So it needs to be simple. But I think the code card is fine. It's okay, but it could be, it's not like a user-friendly thing. Okay, I repeat myself. But the other thing is this air gap thing, which also is in the code card. I mean, I have one and I tried it out, and they moved the I mean, the technical term is PSPT, which is like an unsigned transaction that you produce or your software produces, and then you need to move it to a hardware wallet to sign it. And normally you have it just connected via USB, and the hardware wallet is and the computers, they are talking to each other, but they're not talking over the internet or something. They're talking to each other only. And you can also do this with this SD card from the code card, or some hardware wallets have like a camera and you do that via QR code. That's the other option. And it's called air gapped, but I'm not so sure if this is really, I mean, you can open or you can use, I don't know. The thing is, you can't see what's transfer, what is talked over the USB cable, but you also not can see what the QR code actually is. So, I mean, it could be some key it could be part of your seed or something that is transferred. So I don't see that there is like a huge security improvement in doing this. And there are other things that are much more important, like having a secure update, how to update the hardware wallet. And you sometimes need to update a hardware wallet. You can't, I mean, it's software, so you can't, there will be some bug found in the future or something that you need to update. So I think this is a more interesting part than how to using QR codes or SD card to transfer it. I mean, it maybe has some improvement for security, but I also would say do the same with the computer. Have a computer for your hardware wallet that you're on the computer, you only use the Bitcoin stuff and maybe a browser and nothing else. This is much better than doing the air gap thing, I think. And the air gap thing is also like taking longer, and I'm not sure what you're getting really out of it. Yeah.
So, and in terms of, okay, so just to recap, I think we've established that for newbies, it's just simpler to have a software wallet and use an old laptop. That is the simplest, safest thing to do. It's not the safest, because obviously a hardware wallet is much better, but it's the simplest and to begin with. And especially if you're not going to have a lot of money, then it's great to start with and get used to that kind of custodian, right? Like self-custody. Okay, and then so if you're setting up your software wallet, you have the option of standard wallet, 12 to 24 words, or a multi-sig. First of all, 12 or 24 words, and should you do a standard or should you do a multi-sig?
Okay, before we going into that, I want to mention a few other hardware wallets, because there's this Bitbox 02 from the company is now called Bitbox.
Yep.
I think this is a good option because it's I mean, it's not the most it's the same price than the cold card, I think. And the advantage is that you have very polished software, and it's really easy to use. So I heard from many people who got the hardware wallet and just going through the onboarding, there's like video snippets in the software. It's really easy, and like most of the people will just set it up right, and it works. And there's the new the first thing that you need is a secure element in the hardware wallet, which is like state of the art, which you're saying maybe in 5 years we have a different opinion, but right now it's the thing that you want. And the Trezor Safe 3 is the new model from them that has a secure element, and they also have like a software for it. And this is also like easy onboarding, and I think a good option. And then there's something which I experienced myself as I ordered a code card. I mean, it was the first code card I ordered. I got the second one later, but the first one I got was stuck in customs. Not really stuck. It was getting to me, but this secure bag that they have was opened, and there was a sticker over it going through customs or something. So it was opened. So what now to do? I mean, and it was expensive. I needed to pay extra to get it. So alone that it's coming from Canada is maybe not a really good option. So getting a code card, or I'm not sure. Spain. I mean, Spain is in the European Union, so it shouldn't be a problem to get a bitbox because it's sent from Germany, at least for me. And I think maybe they have even local distribution in Spain. But and also the Trezor is from Czech Republic. So this is also, that should be not a problem in customs and stuff. So that's like a plus on that side. So okay, going into your 12 or 24 words. The thing is, if you look from the crypto in it, it's enough to have 12 words, because that's 128 bit, and it's good enough for this signature algorithm that is used in Bitcoin. So this is like the technical answer. And then there's the answer. Maybe I'm not thinking it's a good idea, but you could split up 24 words into 12 words parts and put them somewhere else in 2 different locations. And you can do that with 24. It's still safe, but with 12 it's not enough, because then you only have 6, and your 6 is not really secure. You can break that, or it will be possible to break that. Figuring out the other 6 words. Maybe not today, but maybe in 1, 2, 3 years. I don't know. So if somebody has special hardware for that, it's totally possible. So this is not secure to splitting it up. So that may be a plus. But the minus is, in 24 words, you have double the chance to write something wrong. So it's also not good. I would say 12 is enough. So you don't need to have 24. I can tell you the story why there are 24. You know that?
No, please tell me.
It's from the Trezor guys. The Trezor one was the first hardware wallet, which was, I don't know, maybe 2015 around or something. And this hardware wallet only has 2 buttons. And I think they thought, oh, it's too cumbersome to put in. If you recover and you need to put in your 12 words, then putting these 12 words with only 2 buttons and a small display is really complicated. And I mean, the code card, it has much more buttons. It's much easier. But so their solution was putting, which is very bad to tell that people, but the solution was putting it in the computer, the words. But the hardware wallet, you also need to connect the hardware wallet, and the hardware wallet was showing, please show word number 2. please write word number 2, and then you put the second word into the computer, and it was sent to the hardware wallet. And then the hardware wallet says randomly, oh, give me word 11, and then you put word 11 in. So if you're doing that, your computer knows all the words, but it doesn't know which word is which. So which is like the order of the words. So if you have 12, this is totally computable. So this is crackable. This is no problem with 12 words. But with 24, it's unbreakable. So they thought, oh, we're doing 24. And they designed the whole BIPs around this HD wallets, this hierarchy, how is it called? This where you have a seed phrase and getting all your keys out of it. They introduced this, or they built this. So it's coming from Trezor, and that's why we have 24 words, because of this quirk. But I mean, you never should put the seed words in your computer. If you remember that, that's like the most secure thing, and not have some weird exception where it's okay. Yeah.
100%. That's really good. Okay, and if I'm not mistaken, well, I don't know if you want to say anything else about hardware wallets. I think we covered it pretty clearly, like in terms of software, hardware. It's true, from my experience, I got the same thing. I ordered a cold card, came from Canada. I had to pay, not, I wouldn't say, but I had to pay, let's say, 30% of the cost
Yeah.
again in just customs. So
Yeah.
so it's not inexpensive for sure. So I mean, maybe Bitbox is a good option for someone in Europe.
Yeah.
I agree. And in terms of Lightning, how so you run some Lightning nodes. Also, I've heard you talk about it more as a hobby because it's not really profitable, and it's more, pain in the ass, just trying to make sure everything is on update and just making sure the nodes are running correctly. Do you think at some point it will become profitable, just like mining did, as more payments go through Lightning, as you process more payments? Do you think that's, reasonable to think that as Lightning scales? And also, would you encourage people running their own nodes?
Right now, how many years we are in? I think 5 or 6, because I saw one of I started very early, and I think it's like close to 6 years I started the first node. And I always was saying in the beginning, this is like a hobby, and it's not like you don't make money out of it. And sadly, I think it's still the same. I mean, there are a few people who really make money out of routing Lightning payments over their nodes, but then it's basically some sort of work, because you need to really pay attention and really try to have the right channels and stuff. If you just install it and let it running, which more or less I'm doing. I mean, I did more attention. I have had some attention before, and I have some decent channels, and it's fine. But normally you need to look at least like once a week or something, or even like more. But and there are others that just have like cheap routing fees, so you're not really used if you make it more expensive. But I think if you want to have that Lightning is a success, then you just need to pay more for it. You need to have it more expensive to route payments. It can't be free. I think today it works more like you have like an LSP, Lightning Service Provider, like you have a software wallet on your phone, for example, Phoenix from Async, and they provide you with everything. You just have a channel with them, and it's self-custody. So you have the funds in the channel, but they do everything else. They're checking where to route. They check that their Lightning node where you connected has liquidity and works, and you pay a little bit more to have that. And I think this is a model that you have some other, or have a special service, just a routing node somewhere in the middle, which is not only doing routings. This is like the hard option to really make money out of it. I think, yeah, if you have a shop and you want to receive Lightning payments, and you want to really not use some Lightning provider for that, then you also have an incentive to check your Lightning node and make the money from the products you sell, basically, and save on the costs that some provider that receives Lightning payment from you. Yeah, I think it's subsidized somehow else. Somehow you need this, and it's the same with Bitcoin nodes. They also don't get anything for propagating transactions through the mempools. They just run because somebody wants to run them, or somebody needs them for their shop and want to run a full node themselves. So it's somehow good for the whole system to do that, and for yourself also, but it's not directly, you don't get directly money out of it. And I think Lightning is still in that phase, but
what amount of Bitcoin, let's say if you wanted to be a little bit profitable or break even, what amount of Bitcoin do you think you would need to lock up more or less right now?
More is always better. That's like the thing. Yeah.
So like a Bitcoin or a half
I
a
think,
Bitcoin?
yeah, 1 or 2 Bitcoin around, yeah, to have a routing node at least, yeah.
Okay. I think we mentioned it in the past, but you have a funny story in terms of mining and sending by mistake some funds to a mining pool. How did that happen?
That's also a good learning for people who are thinking, oh, I'm really long into Bitcoin and I know how the stuff works. I mean, you get lazy. That's like the problem. It doesn't have anything to do with mining. It's more somebody had okay, I start at the beginning. Somebody had a faster or had tried out mempool space with another backend. With this Fulcrum Electrum server. So you need an Electrum server to run mempool space, the whole instance. And they had a different backend. And it was interesting. I thought, oh, how fast is this actually? Because if you run it on your Raspberry Pi and you have like this Electrus backend, then it's really slow. The hardest thing to do is looking up an address which has a long history, address with many transactions on the same address. This is really hard for this Electrum server stuff. And so the first thing was, oh, I need an address with really big history. So, and the easiest thing is just open mempool space or some other Explorer and choose some block and look at the address which the miner is mining his reward to. Because most of the mining pools just use one address. And I was randomly choosing via BTC because, I don't know, it was like the next block or it looked good. And I thought, oh, this is a huge history. I try it out. So I copied the address. And it's one with starting with a 1 in front, like an old address. Because I think they're mining like 4 or 5 years on this address. So it has a huge list. And I tried that out and I thought, oh, it works great. Nice. And then like maybe half an hour later or so, I thought, oh, I should put some funds on my Lightning node. I need some more funds there. And I thought, oh, I just sent something over. And then I opened, I don't want to say which, but I opened a web interface for the Lightning node. And I used this copy button, which is on the side of the address. And then I pasted the address in my wallet software. And then I thought for a split second, oh, I should check. I was on a notebook on a small display, so you need to switch. Can't see both at the same time. But anyways, I thought, oh, you should look. And I thought, oh, what the hell? It always works. And I think this time was maybe the only time that I did not checked. I don't know. It happened. Maybe I did that before and nothing happened. But this time I pressed send. And then it dawned on me. I thought, oh, something is fishy about this address. And I thought, oh, it's starting with a 1. And I thought, oh, this doesn't make sense. The other wallet, there should be a Segwit wallet. There should be like a BC1 in front and something is totally wrong about this address. And yeah, then I figured out, okay, this was in the clipboard was the address for half an hour. Normally, if you copy something, it's just wrong. It's not a valid address, and your wallet software says no. But this was a valid address from the mining pool. So I think the wallet doesn't have some double spending feature or something, some replaceable fee. So I thought, oh, if I'm fast, I can extract the secret key, the private key, which I did. But at some point, just was confirmed in the first block, the transaction. And I said, okay, this is gone. What to do now? And it wasn't that much of a money. It was like, it was like around, I think, 100 euros or something back then. So it was like, this hurts, but if it's gone, okay, you had learned something from it. Yeah. So then I thought, what to do?
How much Bitcoin would that have been?
I don't know. It's how long was that? Like 2 years ago. So it was like bear market. Maybe it was 0.05 or something.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm really bad, and yeah, I'm sorry. I still think in euros because this is more stable over 4 years than Bitcoin.
Yeah, fair enough.
I don't know. It could be worth like 1,000 or something right now. It's more for sure. Yeah. So yeah. And then I opened the support ticket with the mining pool. Oh, I want to mention it because it's a good story. It has a good ending. It was via btc.com, which I think is a Chinese, at least Asian, because also the back and forth with the support mails always took 1 day, because when I was awake, they was asleep, and they had like office hours there, but yeah. I sent a message and they said, you are not a customer of us. You don't have an account with us. And I said, okay, this is an easy fix. I open an account. So I had an account via BTC. And then I sent the same message and they said, oh, this is not our address. And I said, this is surely your address. This must be your address. You're mining like 5 years on this address. And to don't make it too long, it took, I looked it up before, it took 8 mails from me, which doesn't sound that much, but it took 20 days. But I proved that I had the private key from I signed a message with the address that I sent from.
Mm-hmm.
So I extracted it before, and I had it in Electrum. There was possible to sign it. And then they gave me back the Bitcoin. They put it on the balance of my mining pool account. And
awesome.
then I sent it back. So this is like super private Bitcoin that I sent to via BTC and get 20 days later back. But I can't, this is not a good idea. I thought, no, you never will get that back. But it worked. They were honest. They said, oh yeah, you randomly sent that to us. Here, have it back.
That's pretty funny. And in terms of, so BISC 2 has just been released. I don't know if you had the chance to see it. What do you think about peer-to-peer exchanges, and in a specific with BISC? Do you think it has a future? Do you think that niche of a market of kind of expert advanced users that it is now, will that evolve, and that will more people start using it with things like BISC EMZY and things like that?
Yeah, to start with the thing, that the first real problem of BISC is that everything is an on-chain address, an on-chain transaction. So that makes it really expensive sometimes. So that hurts a little bit. But I think it's always, BISC tries to be always there if you really need it, but I'm not sure if it's like the best option for everybody right now if you're talking about BISC 1, because you need like, I think 3 transactions or something, and they are also multi-sig and so on, so they are not cheap transactions, so they are even more expensive than normal transactions. And then you have like a timely manner, so you need to pay even more that you're fast in the blockchain. It's not like your trade is hanging around like a week or even don't get confirmed. So yeah, I think this is like the biggest hurdle. And having Bitcoin before even buying Bitcoin via BISC. I mean, we all know that, but I think it's like the least option or the last option that you can use if everything else is like blocked or something. I mean, there's this hodl, which is a website which supposedly is easy to use. Yeah, but it's a website, so it can be shut down, and hopefully BISC can't be shut down. And yeah, and BISC 2, I hope that it will take off, because there are many other options. Like I mean, this RoboSats is really interesting, right? And it would be cool to have something like that in BISC. And also BISC Easy. It's yeah, I think an option just to trade easily is good. What I miss a little bit is I mean, it's in there, but it's not used, is have like in-person cash trades, because I think this is like the most private that you can get, and you don't have any hassle with banking stuff. But it's not really used there, so yeah.
Well, I think with BISC too, I think they do a lot of emphasis on that. I think they want to take advantage of events and meetups to have face-to-face trades, and you can actually advertise your events in BISC too. And I think a lot what you were saying is true. Like on-chain transactions are really expensive at some points when there's a lot of congestion, and BISC too really solves that, especially for small trades, and also includes a solution for the barrier of entry of advanced users, that you need Bitcoin to trade Bitcoin. So that's solved, and that's, I think, huge news. I think we're already seeing quite a lot of users, like 1 week in, and hopefully, I think people will pick up. I mean, I think it'll still be niche for a while, but I think it's definitely more user friendly.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, what I saw. I haven't tried it yet. I just saw 1 or 2 videos about it, and I saw this. I think just yesterday or so. There was or the day before, there was the video about the roadmap and the introduction of BISC 2. That looks very promising, but as that is it always takes like longer than you think.
Yeah,
Especially if there are not so many developers. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's totally needed, BISC, but I'm okay if it's not for everybody. I mean, also it seems to be. I mean, maybe it's splitting up somehow, but right now it seems to be it's more getting into this even more KYC Bitcoin. If you're looking at the ETFs in the US, where you basically have like more than one custodian somehow in between. So, and everything more or less, I mean, there are 1 or 2 exceptions, but I think from the 11 ETFs, most of them, like 9 of them, just have their custody at Coinbase. And I'm not sure, is this the right direction, that everything is at Coinbase? Yeah. But yeah, I don't think that that you ever get to. So there's my thinking is you never get to 100% people make self custody. I mean, this. Just look at the past. It's the same. I mean, you can compare it somehow with gold, right? There are some gold bugs that hold their gold themselves, but many just have a gold ETF or have paper gold, basically. I mean, that's gone since 1971, right? Before that, you had paper gold. Yeah, I think it will be a niche, or it will be a cypherpunk thing, but for sure it is. And I get. I mean, they are at the local meetups. There are people. I mean, there are both sorts of people. There are the people that just see it as an investment, and then people there that saying, "Oh, this is like this is better money, and I want to hold it myself, and this is I want to do self custody. I want to have KYC Bitcoin because this is like the last resort. If something happened, I will always have access to my Bitcoins. And we see that. I mean, the Ukrainian war shows that if you had some bank account there, it was, I mean, and the local currency, I mean, yeah, that was really a problem. And I think people before didn't thought about, oh, this could be a problem. But if you had Bitcoin, it's yours. Nobody can take it. And so I just want to say, sometimes it's like this prepper people who are thinking, oh, tomorrow the world is ending or something. That's maybe over the top. But I would say better safe than sorry, right? I mean, something can always happen. You don't know. It's a crazy world where we're living in.
What is your price prediction for this year? Do you think we're reaching 100,000 before the halving, or is it too late? And also, what do you see the peak of this cycle?
I must say, I mean, I was at all halvings, so I remember all halvings, and I think I could look at the halvings before and say, oh yeah, before the halving it will go a little bit down, maybe it's going a little bit up, so it's like sideways, but then at the halving it's going down, because we always had that, and then maybe 1 year later it's going up. But I mean, you can't predict this, and it's a total other. I mean, we have these ETFs and stuff, but right now I think we're seeing the price going down. So the thing that I learned from Bitcoin is it is always more price pain than you think. So if you're thinking, oh, this is over now, it's fine, it's only going up, it will hurt you again. So what I also learned is don't trade. I'm just stopped. I mean, in the beginning, the same. I started with stocks, and I always like had like my small amount. I was at the university, and I studied electronics. Didn't have any not so much money, so but I tried to do the stock market stuff, and I always like, oh, you have so little money, so I buy this stock, and then I sell it and I buy it, but always like with the whole sum. So let's say I have like 500 euros saved, 500 euros in Tesla, and then, oh no, this doesn't look good, so I sell it, and then something else, and so, and in the end I had less. So it's the same with Bitcoin. I don't know, if I trade, I know I'm wrong, so I don't trade. This is basically. And I mean, I think we forgot in the beginning to say what I'm all doing. So one thing is I quit my day job in 2020, and or before 2020, and I wanted to go full Bitcoin, which is at that point in a bear market not a good idea, but anyhow I wanted to do it. And I looked around, and now I'm working I'm in the team of Mempool Space, and I get paid in Bitcoin. So this is like my solution. I'm DCAing with my work, and yeah, that's like the best option. Always like every month put something in, and don't think about the price. Just do it. I don't know. That's like yeah. I have no prediction about the price. I have no idea. I mean, I'm sure that it's higher in 4 years. I mean, but what else can you say? I don't know.
I completely agree. Couldn't agree more. Okay, well, I think we could wrap it up at that. Where could people follow you?
The easiest thing is I made a website which is EMZY.de. I'm German, so I have a DE. EMZY.de. It's an English page, and it just like roughly shows my contacts and what I'm doing. And I also have a donation page, but there's more like trying out my. There are donations coming in. I'm amazed, but yeah.
Awesome. Perfect. And then also, do you have a particularly like node that you recommend, like Fulmo or anyone?
You mean like I mean I help a little bit on the Raspberry Blitz project.
Mhm.
So, and I mainly use that. So I like that, but I don't have looked really into the others. I mean, I can say that I don't like to have other stuff running on. It's the same with the computer. I don't want to have other stuff running on my Lightning node. So the way that Umbrel is going, I don't think this is the right direction, because I think they switched from, now it's a universal node, and you also can have Bitcoin and Lightning on it. And I think this is not a good idea. Just have a dedicated device for it. Yeah, I mean, you can still do that with Umbrella, I think. So Umbrella is also a good option, I think. Yeah.
Do you have, so what do you think about the Start 9? I don't know if you know that one.
Yeah, I never tried it out, so I can't tell anything about it. But I think it's a good idea, because it's a fork from this other one. Is it? No, it's a fork from Umbrel, right? Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. No, as I've never looked deeply into Umbrel, I never looked into Start 9. Yeah, could be an option, but I would say it's not. I think they don't have that many people maintaining it, so. But there's always the option, which is interesting, but it's only in this direction. If you have an Umbrel running, I suppose it's also for Start 9. You can switch the SD card to Raspberry Blitz and then say, oh, please import my old node. And then you have the same Lightning channels and the same Bitcoin stuff running. So there's like a convert option. So you could start with Umbrel and then sort of upgrade to Raspberry Blitz. Yeah.
It's really good. Okay, EMZY. Well, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much. And it's been great having you.
Yeah, great to be on your podcast. Nice.
A good one. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.